What is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop a sign any chance I get. And today we're going to be reacting to the latest album from ROSALÍA called MOTOMAMI. So yeah, I've kind of been putting this video off for a good amount of time. A few months ago, I made several videos reacting to ROSALÍA, getting a good sense of who she is as a performer, but I never got a chance to listen to her new album. A lot of that had to do with adjusting to a new environment, and once I got over that hill, I was moving on to other LPs. But I think now is the best time to get MOTOMAMI out of the way, now that I'm flying out to Italy within a few days. We should just cut the chit-chat and get right into the music. Track number 1, Sayoko. This song I already did a reaction to many months back. I think it was back in February. You can check that out right now. The link is going to be in the description. But, you know, I always love to listen to it within the context of the record. I love that percussion that starts off on the song. And it kind of reaches a new pitch, like it's Alvin and the Chipmunks. ROSALÍA is kind of spitting fire right now. I love the intensity that she's just spewing. Like those that vocal delivery is really choppy, you know, it's sort of like, you know, it's like mixed together in a weird way. You just gotta love that auto-tune, it just sounds splendid. Oh, and I love that fat bass line, it's just so tight. You can hear a hint of piano too, it's like very high pitched. And then we have that nice little jazz interlude to break up the song. It just racks up with intensity. Okay, so that was Sayoko. We've listened to the song before. It just sounds great. It's still amazing, just like the first time I heard it. So when I'm looking at these translated lyrics, ROSALÍA is singing a lot about the concept of transformation. She talks a lot about the idea of changing herself or going through some kind of like artistic change. Maybe this sort of like relates to how she wants to take her music in a different direction. Maybe this is her sort of like being able to cross over into America and find like a new sort of style that she can infuse with her sound. I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but I really do like how she's sort of presenting this idea in general. But yeah, I really do like what she's got going on here, and the way she sort of like presents that experimentally within the sound is very unique. She sounds like a literal transformer going from a car to a robot, and it just sounds out of this world. So I give her props. Track number 2, Candy. Okay, this sounds very calming right now. She's taking it slow. Might burst into something, but let's see. She knows how to sing high notes. Ooh, we got this icy beat just coming in on the post-chorus. Just sounds very hypnotic. Ooh, and then it just sounds very calming again. And I kind of like this dreary, faint piano that she's playing right now. It just really like brings you into the ominous feeling. I kind of like dig those ad-libs a bit. They just add something. Woo! That auto-tune just surprised me. It's very welcoming. Okay, so that was Candy, and that one I find to be very interesting. She seems to rely on this sort of icy, glossy production that really just gives you the sense of, like, you know, timidness in a way. As always, she's able to hold those pitch-perfect high notes that just really ring right in your ears. I just really adore them. That auto-tune at the end really did surprise me. It sort of reminded me of Kanye West at the end of Runaway, where he's just doing that whole auto-tune solo. There's a sense of hypnosis when it comes to this song, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, it actually is pretty straightforward. It's ROSALÍA singing about this past lover of hers that is no longer a part of her life, and she's sort of moving on from. Apparently she's become so distant from this guy that she can't even remember his appearance. That's crazy. Apparently he also dressed in this special fashion brand called Fendi, which appears to be what he wore on the night that they met. And the Candy that she keeps referring to in the song is this tune by Plan B, which was released back in 2014, which I find to be very interesting. It's kind of like their song that they always played whenever they wanted to be romantic with one another, but now that song kind of means nothing to them. Given the whole context, I really do think the beat adds to that empty feeling that she's now harboring in herself. She dreads that these two have become distant from one another and that she has no more feelings for him. And now she's just forced to carry all these hollow feelings, these hollow emotions whenever she thinks back to him. So I really think she really struck lightning with that one, if you would say. Track number 3, La Fama, featuring The Weeknd. Again, I've already done a song reaction to this one. You guys can check it out. The link's going to be in the description. But of course, you always have to play it within the context of the album. This one just makes me want to dance. Has a really cool beat. Oh, I just can't get over how well she holds her notes. Like, she must have been given so much training. Oh, that little drum roll right there. The Weeknd just getting his Spanish on. Really belting those notes while perfecting the language. And then we go silent for a little bit. Ooh! Those haunting vocals. I don't remember those. Those are perfect. Okay, so that was La Fama. We've done the song before. It sounds great. I still love it. It still has so many creative choices that I really dig. Again, I think it's supposed to talk about the cruelty and heartlessness of fame and how much it can take out of you and how much you just really want to escape it at moments. And once again, I think the production really is able to reflect on that emptiness that Rosalia and Abel are sensing. With the drum rolls, the haunting backup vocals, and the high-pitched notes at moments, they just really bring everything together, and I think it is a great way to sort of bring out that message. So props to you guys. Track number 4, Bulerías. Alright, we have her vocals. We have this sort of weird stomping noise. There's a little chanting in the background. Nice element. Just bring it! Bring it, Rosalia! I love it! I love it! Woo! The echoing sound effects. The stomping is getting progressively louder. Sort of haunting in a way. It's sort of like we're in the streets as this is taking place, while the music is being played and chanted. Ooh! Auto-tune! She knows how to use that shit. You just pick it up, a little bit. Okay, so that was Bulerías, and yo, I am very fascinated by that one. The escalation that's being presented all throughout the track, like the way it just builds up to this epic climax, it just really got me hooked. Okay, so what I'm getting from the lyrics is that she's singing about the way people perceive her now that she's a big star, and how she seems to have changed and evolved throughout her career, and that, you know, even if people are going to say negative things about her or judge the way she looks, she's going to keep singing and making music because that's what she loves. That's her passion. She also talks about how she likes to stick to flamenco since that's the music genre that she adores so much. But yeah, it seems interesting because she's talking about evolution and really finding new ways to satisfy herself and really make the music and art that she wants. That is now a theme that we've encountered twice on this record. That's very interesting. I'm very intrigued. Track number 5, Chicken Teriyaki. This one has a really intense beat going on with it. I can go for some chicken teriyaki, Rosalia. I'm in the mood just like you. Oh, the nice little drum roll again. Love hearing those. I kind of like how she sort of like escalates her voice at the end of every line. It's pretty neat. This percussion just really gets to me. Okay, so that was Chicken Teriyaki, and yeah, that one is extremely experimental. Instrumentally, I don't know if that one really stands out to me all that much. You know, it does have a really nice beat to it, but I don't know. I guess it just, you know, didn't click with me too much as well as the other ones did. I remember talking about this song back when I reacted to her SNL performances, and this is sort of about her taking a journey off to New York where she gets to brag about all the luxurious items that she's claimed for herself, how fashionable she looks walking down the streets, and how everyone just feels extremely envious of her. Who knows, maybe New York City sells some pretty good chicken teriyaki. I don't know. Like, I don't really know how it ties into the record all that much. Maybe someone in the comments can explain. But yeah, that one I guess is just alright to me. Nothing too glamorous about it. Track number 6, Hentai. Oh boy, that one seems to have a very interesting title to it. Okay, a soft piano composition to open up. Hmm, harmonizing vocals sounds nice. Hmm. She just lets her voice hit new notes like never before. Hmm. It's very soft in its nature. Might be a little contrast with the lyrical content. Mmm. There's those experimental sounds we've come to know. They're just very heavy. Like they really like violate your ears. Okay, so that was Hentai, and yeah, that one kind of surprised me a little bit. I was expecting some extremely intense sort of production all throughout the song that's really heavy and dirty in a way, but this one actually plays it a lot more tranquil. It seems to be like Rosalia is trying to sort of, have a nice romantic evening with her lover, and she wants to perhaps even make something that's as beautiful as a hentai, or in her words, beautiful. It's a very delicate kind of sex song, and you don't really get that much from mainstream songs. But yeah, it's very interesting in its presentation, and I really like the instrumentation. It's very nicely produced, especially with that little drum roll, beat, experimental percussion at the end. And I really do think that this one stands out for me. Track number 7, Biz Cochito. We got some fast-paced rapping with some high-pitched notes. Okay. Way to start with a bang. I love this refrain so much, like the way that it sounds like a bunch of kids are just singing together. And now they're all just chanting gloriously. And I just love this beat. It's just very progressive. It really gets you into the groove. It really makes you dance your booty off. Okay, so that was Biz Cochito, and yeah, that one really caught my attention. I really liked how that one was composed and mixed and everything. This appears to be another song where Rosalia is talking about her image and her career arc as a Spanish musician. This one line, when translated into English, says, "I didn't base my career on making hits. I have hits because I formed the basis." Wow, that is powerful. Sort of like she's saying the reason I became so popular is because I figured out early on what I wanted my image to be, what I wanted my sound to be like, and I felt confident enough to put it out there that so many people began recognizing me and sharing my tunes, and as a result, I am where I am today. It seems like baby cake is another way of saying like, oh, I'm your sweetheart, or I'm your honey, or something. And Rosalia is saying, I will never be your baby cake, and I'm gonna stand for myself, and I will not kowtow to the patriarchy, if you would say. And as it turns out, bizcochito translates to baby cakes. So yeah, I really enjoyed the message she's putting out there, and I think she has that charisma to really like get it across. So you did well there, Rosalia. Track number 8, G3 and 15. I'm liking these auto-tune sounds that she's projecting. You're already 10, almost 11. Maybe she's thinking to a younger sibling. I kind of like this whispered singing that she's performing right now. And we have the auto-tune vocals creeping in again. You can almost hear an organ being played right now. It sort of adds to the somber energy. And we're getting angelic now. We're rising to the heavens, being lifted into the sky, into God's kingdom. Okay, now it seems like we have a voice recording. Almost like if it's a voicemail being left for Rosalia. Okay, so that was G3 and 15, and that one had some really interesting choices going on there. I appreciate the auto-tune vocals and the organ playing, and Rosalia, of course, just projects her voice so beautifully. Like, she has A-plus vocals, I'm telling you. Okay, so from what I'm reading, it's not a sibling that Rosalia was singing to. It was her nephew, Janice, or Janice. hope I'm saying that right. Please correct me if I'm not. She's sort of singing about how she feels ashamed that she wasn't there for him and how she could have spent more time with him had it not been for the album or the COVID pandemic. And that voice recording we hear at the end is Rosalia's grandmother telling her the importance of family and God and faith. It's a song that has a lot to do with family, and I really appreciate that sentiment. You could really hear the heartbreak in Rosalia's voice as she's singing these lyrics, talking about how she wanted to be there for her nephew, and it's just really something that hits you right in the chest. Track number 9, MOTOMAMI, the title track. This kind of has like a heavy bass going on with it at the beginning. She's got a very relaxed flow on this song. I kind of appreciate it. Kind of has like a distorted beat of some kind. Very like trippy. Ooh! And the bass just gets even heavier. Let's go! Okay, so that was MOTOMAMI, the title track. It was very short. I think it was only about a minute, but it was very interesting to listen to. These lyrics are a little bit tricky for me to decipher. I'm not entirely sure what they mean. But maybe once I go through the track a second time later on, I'll be sure to really harness the importance of them. So yeah, I think we're just gonna move on for now. Track number 10, Diablo. Those vocals are just piercing my eardrums. The auto-tuned rapping, just really coming at you, like bam. Those tropical drums kind of hit you just right. And I really enjoy this reggaeton beat. Just kind of really gets you into the groove. We're kind of being lifted off the ground again to the heavens. How like sort of calming outro kind of just puts you at ease, relaxes you in a way. Okay, so that was Diablo, and that one, I don't know how I feel about that one. Apparently James Blake was a producer and lyricist on this song, and that is actually pretty telling because, you know, he has a thing for like uplifting outros. I remember his work that he did with Travis Scott on Stop Trying to Be God, and that one was just heavenly. But for the moment being, I don't know if I have much to say about the production or the composition. Maybe the lyrics will be interesting. It's another song where Rosalia is talking about her fame and how some people may have turned on her because she switched up her sound. She's launched herself into the mainstream, and as a result, she's not the same singer that they once knew. But she's letting them know that, you know, even though she's sort of experimenting with new music and whatnot, she's gonna stay true to her roots. People should not be lambasting her because she decided to take her craft in different directions and try out different things that she may not have tried before. One Lamborghini isn't gonna make a difference in my career arc, so just chill the fuck out. Track number 11, Delirio de Grandeza. Oh, a brass section. I wonder if this was sampled. Just belting her voice at the first verse. There's a lot of desire and, like, you know, desperation in her voice. I can hear it very clearly. Yeah, this sounds like something you would hear, like, from decades ago. This is like a classic tune. Apparently this is Soulja Boy that she's sampling or inviting onto the track. Like, what the hell? Just holds that one last note to close the track. Okay, so that was Delirio de Grandeza. And yeah, I am very fascinated by that song. It sounds like a very classic kind of song that you wouldn't really hear today. It sort of feels like a throwback jam in some kind of way. And then she infuses more modern elements like that freaking Soulja Boy verse. Like, he says "kiss me through the phone." I remember that being a hit in 2009. I don't know if those are lyrics sampled from the song, but it would be very interesting if this was something he wrote entirely for this specific tune on the record. This seems to be another song where she's reflecting on a breakup and talking about how, you know, grand or perceivably grand it was back when they were together. If they were to ever, like, reunite, then they would just keep up that illusion, but she doesn't want to, so she's just cutting him off for good. I love the way she presents the entire message with this classic feeling, and she really seems to let that motion shine through, so I give you props, Rosalia. Track number 12, Cute. Alright, We seem to be counting up a little bit for something. Oh, we're on a broken record now. And we got a heavy bass. Yo, she seems like very burnt out. Like that's like the emotion she's projecting right now. Oh, you can hear her saying cute on the verse. Ooh, now we got a beautiful bridge going on right now. Ooh, that build up and that repetition. Damn, girl. This is the kind of music for dance competitions. Like, they should have, like, played this in Step Up or something. It's kind of like a drum line or something, like in a marching band. You can even hear, like, the whistles. Okay, so that was cute, and that track actually seemed pretty amazing. It almost had, like, a marching band feel to it, like you're in, like, some sort of drum line, and the bridge that she sings is just so beautiful. Like, holy crap. On the verses, she sounds way more intense, like she's super serious with what she's spewing in the song. But then you have this bridge, it's just like, oh, I'm being elevated to God again. Some of these lyrics I find to be very poetic in a way. A utopia without breaches. I want to see the butterflies on the loose. Is this like her sort of longing for a perfect world of some kind? Is this her like wanting to seek heaven and really, you know, be in touch with God in a way? That's my best estimation for what these lyrics mean. Again, you guys can correct me if you need to. But yeah, I think that's my best interpretation of what she's saying here. Track number 13, Como Unji. Okay, got a delicate piano to start off. There's a lot of passion in her voice, just like before. There's that auto-tune again. She knows how to use it. Ooh! Ooh! It's really intensifying with her elevating voice. This is like ballroom dancing music, like something you could slow dance to with your partner. High-pitched vocals right there. She's just singing an auto-tune right now. The synths are really intensifying. Okay, so that was Como Onji, and yeah, that one seems to be like one of the more downbeat songs, one of the more relaxed tunes we got on this LP. Again, it sort of feels like something you could ball dance to, like, you know, if you're in a fancy dress and tuxedo and you need to work those muscles. But yeah, it sounds very delicate in its nature. I really enjoyed the way she utilizes the auto-tune as well. That seems very creative. Okay, so from what I'm getting, it might be another breakup song, or this might be a song where she's coping with the death of someone, and she is just saying her goodbyes and saying, you know, you shouldn't worry about me, I got everything I need on Earth, and you should just spend the rest of your eternity just, you know, being relaxed in God's kingdom. That's the best I got for this song. I'm not entirely sure, but it sounds really, really wonderful. Track number 14, ABCDEFG. Not to be confused with the Gale song, although it would be pretty neat if she covered it. Okay, this just seems to be like some sort of spoken word track. No vocalizing here. I can just imagine her reciting this in front of a kindergarten class, helping them learn their ABCs. Okay, so that was ABCDEFG. And yeah, so she's just like, you know, reciting her alphabet and saying all the letters that begin with certain words. I'm not entirely sure how this ties in with the theme of the record, although it might tie back to that song where she's singing to her nephew and she's trying to sort of build a connection with him. Maybe this is her trying to be like a good influence on her younger ones, her younger family members, and she just wants to, you know, educate them as best as she can, you know, with her being like a big-time musician and her trying to be like a family woman or of some kind. I'm intrigued to know what the meaning of this is, so maybe I can look into that once I revisit the whole album. Track number 15, La Combi Versace, featuring Takesha. Okay, it has a very ominous composition right now. Interesting. Okay, she's relying on that auto-tune singing again. It really fits with this sort of beat. Ooh. It seems to have some clapping effects now that you can clap along to at home. that little harmonizing right there. I love it. And now we got the reggaeton beat just coming right in. Oh, these two sound like they're having a blast recording this song right now. Now it sounds like we're on a broken record or some kind. Okay, so that was La Combi Versace, and yo, that one sounds like a really sort of groovy type of song you could really get down to. A sort of like the hip hop infused elements where they just sort of break down the track a little. The ominous beat also pairs well with everything that they got going on here. Like, it sounds like a really nicely put together tune. It just kind of sounds like a flex anthem from what I'm getting. Like, they're talking about wearing Versace and going out on the night and just looking fly as hell. I sort of dig what they got going on here. They just sound super cool, and they just, you know, they're just showing off just how luxurious they're living right now. It's a welcomed addition to the album, and I appreciate it. But now it's time to get into our closing track and see how Rosalía is going to end this entire LP. Track number 16, Secura. Okay, it sounds like everyone's chanting her name at a concert. This almost sounds like a live recording, like she premiered this song at like a festival or something. There you have the piano coming in, assisting Rosalía. You could just sense a ton of heartbreak with the way she's singing. Like, she finds this to be a very emotional track. Ooh, everyone's just so passionate right now. And then we have that final cheer from the crowd. Okay, so that was Secura, and yo, I think that was a great song to end the record with. She doesn't rely too much on any other instruments. It's mainly just her voice and a piano and a few audience members to help her with the sound. Obviously, what's really interesting about this tune is the lyrics. She's singing about how, like, her time in the spotlight clearly isn't gonna last, and you know, she's gonna have very intriguing thoughts about her career journey when she looks back on it. She's worked really hard to get where she is, and she's very thankful that she's garnered so much success. Obviously, it's gonna wilt away, though, like a Secura flower, like she says in the song. Flames don't last very long either. They sort of make their way through whatever area they're in, but eventually they get doused. So I really like the imagery that she evokes here and the power that she sings it with. It's definitely a finale track, and I think she really perfected it. On that note, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to listen to the album a second time, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts, so bear with me. Alright, I am back, and I am ready to give you my final thoughts on Rosalía's MOTOMAMI. So yeah, I've been missing out on quite a bit. While I have watched a number of Rosalía's live performances, I think now I'm really starting to appreciate her as a recording artist. I love how experimental the album gets, from the opener Seoko to the intense cute and the sexual hentai. It seems to be sort of a new move she's making with her tunes. I especially love when her lines repeat on the songs like a broken record. That's just super creative. For her other creative choices, we see her rely consistently on reggaeton, which she slots right the hell into. She just makes it look so effortless, like holy cow. I also enjoyed some of her piano ballads a little, but I guess for this album, I was feeling her up-tempo tracks a lot more. As for themes, one that pops up so much is fame, and how fed up she is with people saying that she has sold out, or has changed for the worse. I can't exactly attest to this since I'm sort of late to the Rosalía party, but this seems to have been a huge talking point in her artistic journey. It's a major subject in Bulerías, Bizcochito, and the closer, Secura. She doesn't want to forget where she came from, but she also wants to be influenced by the places that she'll go as her reach expands. We also see Rosalía strut her style on Chicken Teriyaki and La Combi Versace, like she's just super fashionable. There's also plenty of heartbreak Rosalía sings about on this LP, whether it's romantic like Candy or familial like G3 and 15. Rosalía is confident enough to know which direction she wants to take her career in, and if this LP is any indication, she's gonna end up at the destination that she wants. I give MOTOMAMI an 8.5 out of 10. My favorite tracks would have to be La Fama, G3 and 15, and Bulerías. My least favorites would have to be Chicken Teriyaki, the title track of MOTOMAMI, and ABCDEFG. And I think that just about does it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this album listen. I know this one took so many months to get out, but I'm glad I finally got to it, and I'm just so relieved that it's finally out. I'm going to be heading off to Italy in a few days, so it's great that I'll release this before I take off. and I cannot wait to show you guys the vlog once I'm done with the Måneskin concert and all the sightseeing. If you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. The links are going to be in the description. And I guess that's where we're going to wrap up. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you're able to soak up those drops. Take care.